I think as women, we are so hypercritical of ourselves, and, everyone will have the opinions of what you should look like, or that you are good enough, or like, oh my gosh, who cares? But understand that the opinions of others are just that. It's their opinion. And if people can't look past certain things and they're judging you just from your outside layer, understand that that is a reflection of their own judgment, that they judge themselves so harshly on the outside that they're not willing to go inwards. Have you been listening to the podcast? Maybe you've read my book and there's something inside of you that's like, I think Heather can help me. I know finding the right mentor or coach or program or path can be incredibly overwhelming. So I'm going to invite you to attend what I'm going to call my coaching open house. This gives you an opportunity to, one, book a call with someone on my team. We want to learn more about your dreams, your desires, and what you're looking for. Also, we're going to invite you, if it's a good fit, to experience my work before investing in it. And I also want you to see all of the different types of women that I work with and the support they receive. heatherchauvin.com/join. You might be attracted to working with me regarding your parent-child relationship. It may be career transition, or maybe you want to find that fulfillment. Heck, you may be a female founding business owner who needs to have that revenue breakthrough, and you are ready to attract more profit in your business. Depending on where you are, we're going to point you in the right direction. So head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/join and take the next step. It's as simple as that. I'll see you on the inside. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Melody. She's the host of the Empowering Her podcast. I had the privilege of being interviewed by her. You can check it out on episode 142. And what I love about Melody is her mission. Her mission in this world is to teach every young girl that she is powerful beyond measure. To do this by linking arms with other incredible women and pay that empowerment forward. I truly believe an empowered woman, this is how we are going to change the world. The better you feel, the more magic we make. Go check her out, the Empowering Her podcast. Do you remember the episode of Friends where Monica is on vacation, and I think they were in the Bahamas or Barbados or something. And the longer the trip went on, the more humidity got to her hair, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That is how I feel right now. So if you are not watching the video, which maybe who the heck knows where the video will be, I just need to describe to you that my hair is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm embracing it. Progress, not perfection. Be in the messy middle. Let it be what it is. And done is better than perfect, and do less better. All the things that I say, and I have to practice what I preach right now. But I'm not going to lie. Before I recorded this podcast, I really did not want to record on video. Podcasting allows me to have my community gain know, like, and trust with me through my voice. And as a woman, the second somebody sees my face, I know they're going to judge me. Whatever the projection and story is that they're going to tell themselves of, like, she's too pretty, she's not pretty enough, her eyebrows are weird, look at her face, look at her body type, look at her hair. It doesn't matter if I like what I see in the mirror. We are always judging other people. And why I've been reflecting on this a lot, why I absolutely love podcasting is because I get to connect with your soul. I get to connect with you as a person beyond what we physically look like. And that's what I want to talk about today. I wanted to talk about, so right now, I'm in Mexico with my family. At the end of the month, I'm hosting a retreat here in Tulum, one of my leadership retreats. And this is my second year doing it in this location. So this year, we decided as a family, I was like, if I'm going to be there, let's go for the whole month. Let's take the kids out of school. Let's get out of Canada for the winter and let's just, let's do it. And so all three of my kids are here. 2 out of 3 are here right now. The third one's on his way with a friend. My husband's here. And there's a lot of preparation that happens to do something like this. And it's messy. It's messy. And I wanted to talk about the reality of planning to leave your quote unquote business for a month. I'm not really leaving my business because I'm still working here. I'm recording this podcast. I'm just batching my work. I'm definitely working less and batching and doing the things, but to have the emotional capacity, the physical capacity, the financial capacity to do so. But some of the lessons that I've had to learn along the way in order to step up and into what your soul actually craves. The lesson today was just getting over the way I look. I think as women, we are so hypercritical of ourselves, and, everyone will have the opinions of what you should look like, or that you are good enough, or like, oh my gosh, who cares? But understand that the opinions of others are just that. It's their opinion. And if people can't look past certain things, and they're judging you just from your outside layer, understand that that is a reflection of their own judgment, that they judge themselves so harshly on the outside that they're not willing to go inwards. It's a protective mechanism. It's a coping strategy. So anyways, today I'm working through a lot of fear, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of insecurity. And I just wanted to share that because I'm human. All right, let's back up a little bit. 2 days ago, and then I'm going to talk about who I needed to become on this journey to do this. But 2 days ago, Dave Hollis, who was previously married to Rachel Hollis. The online world has a opinion about Rachel Hollis, and this is not a time or place for me to tell my personal opinion of her. But her husband eventually kind of branched out on his own and wrote a few books and started becoming like an inspirational speaker, and especially after their separation, which he already kind of was before that, but then really jumped into the light after their separation. And from the outside looking in, he appeared to be very liked in the online space, in the coaching community. A few days ago, Dave Hollis died. He passed away. According to online, it was a heart thing, and it was rather sudden because he was hanging out with people like friends and mentors of his, and people that we follow online, a few days before his death. And so regardless of how he died, it is tragic and it is devastating. I didn't know him. I've never met Dave. I'd never interviewed him. But it's interesting when you see somebody who's thriving or appears to be thriving in their lives. And this is not, a month ago or so, or whenever it was when Twitch passed away, Ellen's DJ. We tell ourselves stories of why why the soul leaves the body, right? It could be disease. It could be disease of the mind and, a completed intentional death. There's so many ways. But the reminder for me was like, and just knowing, like, being so close to death myself, life is simple. And all we have to do is live it. That's it. And this, like, the goal is to be present. That's it. The goal is to be present. That's all we want, really. We make it so complex. Like, oh, I can't record because I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, or I can't go live. Like, I can't record my face because my hair is humid. Like, who the fuck cares? Right. And I know that that's also like cultural standards for women. So I'm being a little bit of a rebel and just being like, so what? How come other online quote unquote influencers or men can show up in fucking gym shorts and like a tank top and a ruggedy old hat and a beard that is like 10 fucking feet long, and people will listen to him? But as soon as a woman does that and she is not quote unquote well kept, or she's not wearing makeup or her hair isn't perfect, we're going to discount the words that come out of her mouth. So, learning to trust yourself. Learning to trust that your desires matter. And whether I'm working with women who have a desire to just, not fail in their parenting, like the deep primal fear of like, I'm fucking up my kids and I need to turn the ship around, or they don't want to fail at their business because they're a breadwinner and they have to make money and they have to figure their shit out and get out of their own way, or they need, their desire for the career transition. But at the end of the day, people will do anything to survive. And I guarantee you, if the option was presented to him and someone said, Dave Hollis, will you give up everything that you have created to stay in your physical body? I don't know him or the situation, but my assumption is he would have gambled everything to stay alive. And I'm sure his family would have did the same, sold everything. Our ego wants more, which is totally fine. But we have to be able to do it in a sustainable way where we're not killing ourselves in the process. Now, a quick word from today's sponsor, AG1. I started taking AG1 a while ago, and slowly my family got on board. We started adding it to the boys' smoothies or just putting it in water. I'm used to the taste now and I really enjoy it. I also love the travel packs that AG1 provides, making it super easy to bring on the road and get through security at the airport. It's one of those simple daily habits that you can take with you, which is surprisingly grounding while you're away from home. It supports better sleep quality and recovery, mental clarity, and alertness. And in 2020, AG donated over 1.2 million meals to children. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year supply of immune-boosting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/EU for emotionally uncomfortable. Again, that's Athletic Greens, ATHLETIC greens.com/EU to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Now back to the podcast. So now let's come back to Mexico. You've heard me say this a million times. My favorite journal prompt. Wouldn't it be nice if? And it was about a year ago. And I said, wouldn't it be nice if my family and I stayed in Mexico for a whole month while, we were hosting the retreat? And I had the conversation with my husband. And of course, there was resistance and questions and all the things that came up, and that how are we going to do this? What if, right? Kids' education, work, our own parents, right? When you get to the sandwich generation and you start, your parents are getting older, their health is doing their thing. Just all the things, life happens. And there's a desire inside of me that I just won't let go of. And that desire is to feel alive. Because why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? The desire to feel alive and to experience life is incredibly uncertain. Because when you make the commitment and the decision to go down that path, and I think we do that with acting on our desires, right? When we say, like, okay, I'm going to do this thing, I put it on my wouldn't it be nice list, and I'm going to act on it. When you begin to actually act on it, that is where the emotionally uncomfortable moments come up. That's where you learn emotional intelligence skills. But as you start to circle around your desires, you're not really jumping into your desires. You're like, I don't know. Your ego gets in the way and you're just circle. And then you ask yourself, why am I stuck? Why do I feel like nothing's working? Why? Because you're still scared. But if you don't understand how to master your fear, if you don't understand how to master your guilt, your addiction to them will keep you in the life that you don't want. So, wouldn't it be nice if we were in Mexico for a month? That's like the Instagram dream, right? I'm going to post photos and people are going to be like, oh my God, I want that. Wouldn't that be great? Someday when. The reality is this process has been so incredibly emotionally uncomfortable in both ways, the yin and the yang. Taking the leap to actually step up and into this has challenged me on so many levels. It's been like an endurance race. Because if that's the goal, then you have to start to reverse engineer it. Cool. Time. Awesome. Education. Money. Systems. Strategies in place. Who's taking care of the house? All of that stuff. How are we getting, the one kid from the airport? Then you begin to reverse engineer, right? And then, of course, I add my extra layer on there of how do you want to feel in the journey? You have to be willing to take risk because life is uncertain and you are going to die. And you actually don't know when your expiration date is. If you are privileged enough, you will live a long, happy, fulfilling life. You will have many ups and downs during that time. But if you are courageous enough, you will fight for your joy during that time. But here's the thing. If you can't start calling yourself out on those little moments of bullshit, you will be sitting in a pile of shit. And what I mean by that is every single time you tell yourself, I can't, that's a dream for somebody else. That's just a dream. That's an impossible dream for somebody else. I could never do that. You are saying, soul, I hear you. but I'm going to abandon you a little bit. Now, let me take it one step further, because you might be thinking, well, Heather, I cannot do the Mexico thing right now, or I cannot act on my desires, right? I can't do that right now. I get it. But there's a feeling behind your desires, and you can act on the feeling. You can start acting as if. You can start embodying what you want and desire. So a year ago, if I didn't put a stake in the ground, and what I actually did is I put a deposit down for the place that we rented. And I said, okay, the deposit is there. I've made an investment in my future. Now, what's the next step? Now, what's the next step? Now, what's the next step? Okay, meeting after meeting, right? Just sitting down with my husband. Okay, what's the next step? Okay, what's the next step? Oh, what's this roadblock? What's that roadblock? Every moment is not always motivating to take action. It's scary, right? Like, oh, I'm going to put down that deposit. That means I'm committed. Means I might lose the money. Oh, what if? I had so many fucking fears coming here. So many. Because those what ifs might actually come true. I'm just going to be honest. When we're sitting in the duality of not knowing if the fear is actually going to be coming true, then we stay in our comfort zone. So it's like going back to the loss of Dave Hollis and thinking, people say, hang on, squeeze your friends tighter. Well, if I fucking squeezed everybody and I was like, this might be the last time I see you. One, that's emotionally exhausting and probably very traumatizing to our bodies and our nervous systems. That's just impossible. There's a part of our brain that, lets us know that we're immortal and we're going to live forever. Because that's a coping strategy to actually a survival tactic. But people are like, oh my goodness, like you got to live, go do the thing, take the risk. But tomorrow you're going to forget about it. The only way that his passing is going to have influence or effect on you is if it impacted you in some capacity. And the older I get, and the more this happens, and you keep seeing it more and more and more, regardless of why, I don't know. I'm in this weird space where I'm willing to take the risk because I know that uncertainty, like, that is the only truth. There are no guarantees. There are no guarantees that the energy and effort you put into something is going to pay off. There's no guarantees. Nobody can guarantee you that. There's no guarantees that if you do this step-by-step strategy that you're going to get XYZ result. There's no guarantees that if you invest in a relationship that person is going to change and it's going to last. There's no guarantees that if you do certain things for your health, you will never get sick. There's no guarantees that if you save all this money and do XYZ that you have financial security when you think you want it. There's no guarantees in life. All you can do is literally prepare, but knowing that there is uncertainty. But people prepare their whole lives thinking they're safe when they're actually not. And then when the uncertainty happens, somebody loses their job, somebody tragically dies, we're baffled. Oh my God, where did this come from? I never expected this. Of course you never expected it. Because there was a part of yourself that avoided ever taking a risk. And I think there's a part of me And again, not going back to my health history of almost dying and like having that like different perspective on life, because I will tell you that was so long ago. It was almost 10 years ago that I am so far removed from that scarcity. But I'm a risk taker. I take daily risk and I do things on the daily that are emotionally uncomfortable. I make investments in myself. I invest personally and professionally, time, money, and energy. And sometimes that time is just the 10 minutes a day. That's all. I'm like, you know what? You don't want to do the thing today, but you're just going to do it for 10 minutes a day. That's an investment. Maybe it's the mental energy and the physical, right? And the financial. There's such a correlation that I see with people who are not willing to invest. And then when life happens to them, like just a little tiny trigger, literally the weather could change directions, the school closes, your kids are home, and you're just losing it because you're living in this fairy tale that shit can be controlled. Everything is uncertain. So why not take the fucking risk? Why not book the trip? Why not call the friend? Why not get the tattoo? Why not start that side hustle? Why not be all in and say, you know what? I wonder if I can actually reach my goal. Why not commit to your healing and say, I truly want to deepen my relationships with my people I love or with just myself? Why not commit to a health journey? Life is a game. Your desires are there to point you in the right direction. And you may never know when your time is done. Take the risk. Feel your feelings. If you want to get to joy and freedom and aliveness, you better be willing to feel your fear of uncertainty. Are you tired of being tired? Stop just surviving and find out exactly where to focus your energy and attention. I'm going to give you access to realistic tools to confidently manage your energy, emotions, and impact. Head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/life quiz and take the aligned life quiz today. It's free. And not only am I going to show you which pillar to focus on of inner leadership. Do you need to focus on managing your energy and time? Do you need to focus on boundaries, getting a deeper sense of purpose in your life, or your emotional triggers? And are you living in a state of survival mode, momentum, thrival, or abundance? This 2-minute quiz will show you how and where to focus your energy and attention. So instead of feeling like you're playing whack-a-mole all over and overwhelmed with where to start, I'm going to show you how. Head on over to Heather Chauvin, CHAUVIN.com/life quiz.
Before I decided to join Heather's program, it was 3 a.m. I was at my part-time job feeling completely out of control. So I pulled out my phone and looked on a podcast app for In Control, and Heather's Mom is in Control podcast popped up. This is when I started to listen to her, and every time I listened to her, she just spoke to my soul. And after 2 months, I decided it was my time to join, and this was the path I deserved to be on. After the 8-month program, I got to this place of understanding how she completely saved my marriage, and I now know that I'm an amazing entrepreneur, amazing mom, and everything else that I desire and deserve in this world. If it wasn't for Heather's program, I I would not be on the path that I am on in my life. I appreciate her deeply, and I'm very thankful for the work that she is doing for the world.